Okay, I'm ready. Good morning, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you. Uh-oh, do we lose the ladies? I think we may have lost the ladies' side. I'm gonna give them a second to log back on. Well,
I'm trying to raise the female cell right now. He's working on it.
okay. Okay. Are we back?
Yes, sir, will.
Okay. I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: to the presumption of innocence, to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, to a speedy and public trial by jury, to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, to testify on your own behalf, or offer evidence in your own defense, and to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you're in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you can remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Where the bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Excuse me. Lastly, I need everyone to raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that any statements made during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's start on the lady side and we'll come back to Mr. Alfredo when we get the interpreter on. Ms. Braxton? Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended license, 1 count of driving a vehicle on an expired or invalid tag, 1 count of a window tint violation, 1 count of identity fraud, and 1 count of giving a false name, address, or date of birth. You're going to have a $1,500 bond set on the driving on a suspended license, a $500 bond set on the tag charge, a $500 bond set on the window tint charge, a $5,000 bond set on the identity fraud, and that is a felony offense, and $2,000 bond on giving a false name, address, or date of birth. So your total bond is going to be $9,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning in courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Ms. Braxton? Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Ms. Carter? Ms. Carter, ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Bond is going to be denied on this offense at this time. There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Brianna Reed. Do you understand that? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning in the courtroom 201. And you're going to also have a bond hearing date set for October 8th at 8:30 in the morning, also in courtroom 201. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay. Mr. Jones, ma'am, you're free to go back. Mr. Jones, who are you representing, sir?
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you, sir?
I'm a little bit under the weather, but other than that, I'm doing well.
I understand. I wish you a speedy recovery. I'm actually representing Mr. Justin Miller.
Okay. Give me 1 second and then I'll get over to Mr. Miller.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. I'm gonna do Miss Lee right now. And while I'm going through her charges, could we please get Mr. Justin Miller up on the male side? Okay, ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of theft by deception. This is being written as a felony offense. Bond is going to be set at $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from an Alan James Royster. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, let's pause for a second on the ladies' side. You're free to go back, ma'am. And we have Mr. Miller.
This is Mr. Miller, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Miller, I would normally speak to you directly, but you've taken advantage of the opportunity to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to speak to your lawyer about the charges and bond amount. So please don't discuss anything in this setting that you would not want the whole world to know, okay?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Jones, Mr. Miller has one warrant that apparently was written in 2019 for abandonment.
That's
Um,
correct.
th- there's a schedule bond that's been set at $1,500. Do you believe that Mr. Miller can post that bond?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he can. I would ask the court to possibly consider a cash option bond or even a unsecured judicial release. If you were to consider a cash option bond, maybe $250 or $500, or whatever the court may deem appropriate.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to leave the bond as it's set. He's going to have the opportunity he can pay the entire amount. He can go through a bonding company or he can put up property. So he has three options in how to post his bond. He's going to have a preliminary hearing date set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon his bonding out and he'll get a new court date in the mail. Is there anything else you want to bring to my attention, Mr. Jones?
Just briefly, he's a father of five, and he does work for the City of Atlanta Waste Management Sanitation. And he was in the process of being transferred over to the watershed for the City of Atlanta. So he's a working man, a family man, and I think ultimately it'll be shown that this is an incident of one of his children's mothers kind of being dissatisfied or upset with him for one reason or another, and that's how we got here. But other than that, we just thank you for the bond and just wanted you to know that a little bit about my client.
Okay, it looks like he may, sorry, that he may have been placed on a child abandonment calendar. So,
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. I've been calling around trying to figure out what happened, but he definitely is the type of person to attend court hearings. He's not, purposely missing court hearings. It's really a mix-up, and that's how he got in this situation. He just didn't know about whatever court appearance they're saying he missed.
right. Well, I mean, if it was taken out, the application was taken out by Miss Bell, and she provided the address information. So I don't know if he was staying at that address location or not, but that may be something to look into. Because he would have gotten some kind of notice, but it's generally based upon the information that's provided for the person who's seeking the application. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're free to go, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Miller, you're free to go back.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, let's switch back over to the ladies' side. Is this Miss Price?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. You're charged with one count of family violence battery. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Junkin Cuero Oreyella. And I know I've just murdered that name, but do you know who that person is?
My fiance.
Okay. So you got to stay away from him while this stay away provision is in effect. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I have a lawyer, sir.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I have a lawyer.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Miss Searcy? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you're charged with one count of battery. The bond is going to be set at $5,000. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Malia Williams. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning in courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to find that you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, so you're free to go back, ma'am.
Thank you.
Finally, I see that just to confirm, we're going to continue Ms. Thompson over to tomorrow, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your assistance. Have a good day.
Yes, sir.
Let's switch over to the male side. And let's keep Mr. Alfredo, let's hold him to the end.
Okay, so first on the calendar is gonna be Brown Batavius.
Okay. Mr. Brown,
He's coming up.
okay. So you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Bond is going to be denied at this point. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning in courtroom 201. I'm going to also set a bond hearing date for October 8th at 8:30 in the morning in courtroom 201. Do you already have a lawyer, Mr. Brown? Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Are you currently working, Mr. Brown? All right, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me? Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Brooks?
Yeah. This is Mr. Brooks.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, sir, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery. I've set the bond at $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond, stay away from a Brianna Brooks. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Your
Yes.
preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning in courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, sir, free to go back.
Michael Brown.
Yes. Michael Brown, sir, you're charged with 1 count of battery. Bond's going to be set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a stay away provision on the bond, stay away from Christine Janik. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning in courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you do qualify, Mr. Brown. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Next, Mr. Carter.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Carter. Sir, you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault by strangulation and 1 count of simple battery. Bond is going to be denied on the aggravated assault by strangulation. I'm going to set a $5,000 bond on the simple battery. There's also going to be a stay away provision to stay away from a Takai Overton. Do you understand that? Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. I'm also setting a bond hearing date for October 8th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, sir. Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify, Mr. Carter. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, about the first one that didn't get a bond.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't be able to get bonded out at all until I get a bond.
Your lawyer can go through a process with the district attorney and see if the district attorney will consent to a bond. because of the nature of these charges, generally, I'll deny bond and allow, it doesn't mean you can't get out later this week, working through your lawyer, but the district attorney's office is going to have to be involved. Okay. All right, you're free to go back. Mr. Clark. Good morning, Mr. Clark. You have 3 warrants from 2019. One charging you with a hit and run, one charging you with improper lane change, and one charging you with driving on a suspended license. I'm setting a $3,000 bond on the hit and run or leaving the scene of an accident, $500 for the improper lane change, and $1,500 for driving on a suspended license. So that's a total bond of $5,000. You believe you can post that bond?
Sure.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm going to find that you qualify, Mr. Clark. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me? Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis, sir, you're charged with 1 count of simple assault. I've set the bond at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir, I don't. I'm on disability, sir. I'm set for, I get a disability check for $780. And after I pay my bill, after I pay my rent, I only have $150, sir. I'm confined to a wheelchair. I can't walk, so I got a very bad heart, sir. I was hoping and praying that I can't post no kind of bond, sir, at all. I was hoping that you can let me out on a signal bond, sir, and I would be back in court. You know, they said, but the officer said that I said something to scare somebody, that said something.
Said you got into an argument with your roommate.
He stayed there at the house, the same place where I stayed, but under the good, well, I'm not gonna talk about that, sir, because the officer did explain to me. I was just hoping that you could make it where I can get out on a signal bond, sir, and I will be back in your courtroom, sir. I can't pay, I ain't got no, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I got to go and see my doctor tomorrow. I got to go and see my heart doctor. I got a very bad heart doctor. I got to go and see my doctor tomorrow about my heart. And I got to go and do a pain clinic tomorrow. I got 2 doctor's appointments. And if you would, please, sir, you give me where I can go to my doctor appointment. So, you know, you can let me sign on. I can't make one, sir. I can't. There's no way I can make it. So I got to pay my rent at my house. You know where I pay $650. I pay $650 something. I ain't got the $50 where I can buy me some soap.
Okay, Mr. Davis. I'm gonna deny your request to reduce the bond. I'm gonna keep it the way that it's set. I'm placing a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Edward Atkins. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Have you attempted to make arrangements to bond out?
you know, I know I don't have any money. Nobody that can come and get me out of jail on this bond, sir. Nobody, sir.
Okay. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. But I'm saying, you say you denied me to try to let me out on a signal bond, sir.
Yes, I did.
I got, you know, even I got doctor's appointment, you can't get me out no type of way.
Mr. Davis, the allegation is that you got into an argument or a fight with your roommate, Mr. Atkins. you had doctor's appointments, you had all of the stuff that you're telling me when this happened on the 17th. So
Let him finish.
you have to conduct yourself in a way that you don't come before a judge. Okay?
Let him finish.
So I hear everything that you're saying. Bonding companies will work with you.
Can I please say something, sir?
Yes.
Sir, bonding companies, they would not work with me on my disability. And I really do have to get a doctor's appointment. And these allegations that made against me, I can't talk to you about it. Your officer warned me about, don't talk about my case.
Right.
The honest to goodness, sir, I have not did anything to hurt anybody, sir.
Okay, Mr. Davis, Mr. Davis, I'm going to reduce the bond to $1,000 just so we can move this along. But
How much I have to pay on $1,000, sir?
Mr. Davis, I believe that you may not understand how you're coming off. And that may be the reason the officer arrested you. I don't know.
Officer, very good officer.
Okay.
Are we done, Your Honor?
Yes, we're done.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for this.
Mr. Edwards.
Mr. Edwards. Still have a court, y'all. Come on.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Edwards. Excuse me. You're charged with 1 count of possession with intent to distribute marijuana, 1 count of possession of firearm by a convicted felon, 1 count of possession of firearm during the commission of a crime, and 1 count of use or possession of drug-related objects. I'm going to set bond on all of these offenses. I'm setting a bond at $10,000 on the possession with intent to distribute, $5,000 each on the possession of firearm by a convicted felon and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, and $1,500 on the use or possession of drug-related objects. Total bond is going to be set at $21,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I can only try, sir.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, I'm going to find that you qualify, Mr. Edwards. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir, I just have one. That total bond amount, was it 21.5?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Mr. Falconer?
Yes, sir.
Right. Yes. Good.
Sir, do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, sir.
I cannot set bond at this time on these offenses. I am going to set a preliminary hearing date for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to also set a bond hearing date for October 8th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me? Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Gloucester? Mr. Gloucester, sir, you're charged with 1 count of battery. I've set the bond at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond? There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Tanisha Brown. Do you understand that? Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. A date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Next, Mr. Harold. Harold. Marquez Harold. Harold.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, sir.
I can't set bond on these offenses at this time. I've set a preliminary hearing date for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. I've also set a bond hearing date for October 8th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When did you say my preliminary hearing?
October 4th at 8:30 in the morning.
All right, thank
You're welcome.
Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris, sir, you're charged with one count of family violence battery and one count of criminal trespass damage to property. I've set a bond at $5,000 on the battery offense and $3,000 on the criminal trespass damage to property for a total bond of $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond? There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Vanetti Fraser. Do you understand that? Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, did you say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I still can't hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Harris. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, free to go back. Mr.
That's
Blake?
Langdon.
Okay,
He's coming up, Your Honor.
okay. Mr. Langdon, sir, you're charged with one count of disorderly conduct. The bond is set by schedule at $1,500. You believe you can post that bond?
I got no way to pay.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. And that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You said no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me? Okay.
Mr. Langford.
Mr.
This is Mr. Langford, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Langford, sir, you're charged with one count of pointing a pistol or gun at another. I'm going to set the bond at $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Cheryl Langford. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
I'm sorry?
No, sir.
Okay. You're free to go back.
All right.
Mr. Matt.
Mr. Mack, you're charged with one count of aggravated assault by strangulation, one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, one count of terroristic threats or acts, and one count of cruelty to children in the third degree. I've denied bond on aggravated assault charges and the terroristic threats or acts charge. I've set a $5,000 bond on the cruelty to children in the third degree. I'm also placing a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Shatima Jones. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. And I'm also setting a bond hearing for October 10th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna find that you qualify. Mr. Mack, I'm gonna appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
When that bonded, the bonded that you give me, would I be getting a bond that day, or how would that go?
It'll be in the system, but you're not gonna be able to get out because I'm denying bond on the other felony offenses.
Oh, so you won't be giving me on that date, you won't be giving me bond for those? Not getting.
Yes, it is possible for you to get out even before that date. Like I've said before, your lawyer would have to speak to the district attorney's office and see if they're willing to consent to a bond for you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. McCoy,
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. McCord, sir, it's Mr. McCoy, right?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Martin is OTB, correct, deputies?
yes,
Okay, thank you. Mr. McCoy, sir, you're charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, one count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and one count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. This is one of those offenses where I can't set bond for you because there's an indication that you're on probation from a conviction out of Henry County in 2019.
I was supposed to be released off of probation April of this year, sir.
So it's still showing. So I'll talk to you about that in a second. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. I'm setting a bond hearing date for October 8th at 8:30 in the morning. Do you already have a lawyer?
Well, I had one, but I don't have one now, sir.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, I'm going to find that you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer and appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, I'm telling you what is showing in the system. If you have been discharged off of probation, you should have some documentation to prove that. Okay. All you gotta do is get the documentation, have your lawyer take it over to the district attorney's office.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, when I was arrested in the comfort of my parking lot. I was just asleep.
Okay. All right, you're free to go back.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Oniora,
Mr. Oniora, sir, you're charged with one count of failing to stop or yield at a stop sign, one count of knowingly driving a vehicle with a suspended or canceled registration, one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and one count of use or possession of drug-related objects. I'm going to set a $500 bond on the first two offenses, the stop sign and the knowingly driving a vehicle on suspended or canceled registration. There's going to be a $1,500 bond set on the possession of marijuana less than an ounce and $1,500 bond set on the use or possession of drug-related objects. So your total bond is going to be set at $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, I also have a question.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second, and I'll let you ask the question at the end. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
You said no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, what was your question?
Basically, I just wanted to say that the drug-related object was a scale.
Don't talk about the facts of your case.
All right.
When we say that to you because you haven't even spoken to a lawyer yet. And you may start saying things that you think are perfectly fine, but they get you in trouble. Okay? All right, you're free to go back.
Next, Mr. Ross.
How you doing?
Good morning. Mr. Ross, you're charged with 1 count of obstructing an officer, 1 count of fleeing from a police officer, and 1 count of felony possession of marijuana. I'm setting a bond on all of these offenses. You're going to have a $2,000 bond set on obstructing an officer, a $3,000 bond set on fleeing from the officer, and a $10,000 bond set on the felony possession of marijuana. So you're going to have a total bond set at $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You have any questions for me, Mr. Ross?
You said that it's marijuana.
Hold on. I'll go back to the warrant. Let's see. Okay, I'm sorry. It's warrant number 2021 CW 50627, and there were small multicolored pills that they believe to be MDMA. Okay,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
you're welcome. Anything else?
No, sir. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
You said 15,000, right? All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next, Mr. Turner.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Turner. Sir, you're charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle on a suspended license, 1 count of concealing the identity of a tag, 1 count of driving a vehicle with no insurance, and 1 count of driving a vehicle with no tail lights. You're going to have a $1,500 bond set on a suspended license charge, a $500 bond set on the use or the tag charge, a $1,000 bond set on the insurance, no insurance, and $500 set on the tag. Tail light. So you're going to have a total bond set at $3,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you currently working, Mr. Turner?
Am I currently working?
Yes. Are you currently working?
No.
Okay. I'm going to find you qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No. Yes, sir.
Okay. You're free to go back.
Mr. Worthy.
Hey, how you doing, y'all?
I'm doing well, Mr. Worthy. You're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, carrying a weapon concealed, it says possession of weapon on a school bus, possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and simple battery. Bond is going to be denied on the aggravated assault with the deadly weapon. There's going to be a $5,000 bond set on the carrying a concealed weapon. Bond is going to be denied on the possession of a weapon on the school bus. And we're going to have a $5,000 bond set on possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and a $3,000 bond set on simple battery. I am going to place a stay away provision on this bond, to stay away from a Jordan Menchaca. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. You're going to also have a bond hearing date set for October 8th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
One question, sir.
Yes, sir.
You, like you said, am I able to get a bond hearing before then, if possible? Or I have to wait till that day?
You will have to go through a consent process with the district attorney, but you're going to have that date already set. Okay.
All right.
Does that make sense to you? Okay.
Have a nice day.
You too. Okay. We're going to do Mr. DeGraff and then Mr. Alfredo.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Graff. He's coming up.
Okay.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. DeGraff. You're in a different setting than everyone else. You still have all of the same rights as I read to the whole group, but you are in a special category where they call it a fugitive from justice. And what that means is that there is a warrant for your arrest out of another jurisdiction. And in your situation, it looks like there are number warrants for your arrest out of Nevada. One for larceny, one for securities fraud, one for unlicensed broker dealer, one for breach of fiduciary duty, one for prohibited transaction by an advisor, one for unlawfully transacting business as an unlicensed broker dealer. So those are the charges. Now, you have the right to demand a hearing on these charges. And what happens is, if you demand that you want to have a hearing on this issue, sometime within the next 90 days, it'll be set down for a hearing. Basically, at that hearing, we're determining whether you are Donald James DeGraff and whether these charges are valid, not whether you're guilty or innocent. After that process, we determine that the charges are valid, you are the person named, we'll sign off on Nevada coming to get you. So they'll have 30 days after that is signed, and it could go up to 60 days to come and get you. So if you believe that you are Donald James DeGraff and you believe that these charges could be valid, you can waive that whole process, and the clock will start ticking today for Nevada to come and pick you up. Once there's either a waiver signed, or once a judge signs off on the extradition paperwork, if the state of Nevada doesn't come and get you within that 30-day period, Sheriff's Department will contact them and they may say, hey, we need an additional 30 days. And then there'll be a determination whether they get the additional 30 days. If they don't come and get you in time, you will get released, but it doesn't make the warrants go away. So you can get released and 5 minutes later, you interact with another law enforcement officer and you go right back to jail. Because the whole thing is about the warrants. Okay. Are you following through? Do you have any questions so far?
Yes, sir. First thing is, I would like to see if I can speak with legal counsel and see if I can make an arrangement of some sort with the courts in Nevada.
That would probably be your best thing to do. And you may want to work at it from both sides of the issue, where you sign a waiver today and you hire a lawyer out there.
But let me ask you, if I were to see if I can, because there is legal counsel that I'm trying to seek here. I just don't have his contact information readily available. But if I can be assigned a state-appointed attorney to properly make contact with my attorney, I may be able to sort some things out.
So you're saying you can't call your attorney out in Nevada?
I'm not from Nevada. I'm from Georgia. So I have no legal counsel at all in Nevada. So my only bet is to see if I can get an attorney here to make some arrangements with the court in Nevada ahead of time.
Any attorney here is not licensed to conduct legal work in Nevada. You may find one, but it's very, very few. Attorneys are licensed by state. Right. So it would be the unauthorized practice of law. If I were to try to call out there on your behalf, I would be committing a crime.
But if my attorney may some kind of way have another law firm that works in Nevada to represent me there, is it possible to have him to contact another law firm to work on my behalf in Nevada?
So no, what you're asking for is for me to appoint a lawyer here to basically act as your recruiter out in Nevada?
No.
And when I say recruiter, you keep saying you don't know about any lawyers in Nevada, so could I appoint a lawyer here to help you get a lawyer in Nevada, correct?
I wanted to see if I can get you to appoint a lawyer for me.
For what purpose?
To contact a lawyer that I'm working with here. I just don't have his contact information.
No, we just don't have those kind of resources.
So if I sign the waiver today, you're saying that the earliest that I will have 30 days, but the state of Nevada may not be able to pick me up in 30 days. It may extend to 60 days.
Right. Because that's the statutory time period. They may come and get you in 2 days. I just don't know, because I don't work for Nevada. Mm-hmm. I'm not their travel agent. I don't put stuff on their schedule. But if you were to sign the waiver today, the fugitive office would notify the agency out in Nevada. And so I'm saying it may be in your best interest to concentrate on getting a lawyer out in Nevada.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so you said you're from here. Do you have family here?
Yes, I live with my wife, my kids. Trying
They
to.
could do a Google search and find you a bunch of lawyers out in Nevada right now.
Okay. All right. But I'll sign the waiver because I still need to see if I can face the answer to the warrant. Go to a preliminary hearing of some sort to see if I can make bond or something in order to defend myself.
Right, and they may choose to grant you a bond. I've had that happen, I think last month on a fugitive situation. I think the person was out of Tampa and they signed a waiver, hired a lawyer, down in Tampa. Lawyer contacted the court, contacted prosecutor, and they agreed to a bond.
Okay.
And then they just sent that information up here so that the people in the fugitive squad know that they can release you or release that person.
Okay, great.
Right.
So that's what I'll do then. I'll go ahead and sign the waiver.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get in contact with my wife, and then we'll make arrangements with someone in Nevada.
Okay. All right. Then sign the waiver and they'll send the documents over to me.
Okay.
And then I'll sign it.
So I only need to sign because there's several here. I need to sign each and every one or just one?
Yes. You need to sign each one.
Okay. All right. All right. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
You too.
All right.
Mr. Alfredo. So I've set bonds on these offenses. Do you understand that?
No.
I reached out for a court reporter. I don't know. I mean, a court interpreter. I don't know what happened. But I don't want you to just sit in jail for another day. So I'm going to try to go over this as much as possible to see if you understand. And if you do, and I feel comfortable that you understand, I'll go ahead and submit this paperwork so that you'll at least have the bond in the system, okay? So you're charged with theft by taking. I set a bond at $2,000. And you're charged with simple battery. I set the bond at $3,000. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Sandra Rosales. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for October 5th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Okay?
He one question, but
Yes.
this problem, but Sunday, somebody in my house, he taking my pocket, my debit card. He hit in my house. Me call bossman, me call the police as a report. Me no touch nobody.
Right.
Me come back work, but me working 25 hours. Me call bossman as a man here, me call the police as a report. It's confused, but me no touch nobody.
Okay.
Only.
This this warrant is from August 15th. So a couple days ago. Sunday. Ring a bell to you? That's the allegation is that on Sunday, there was an argument between you and Miss Rosales that led to the allegation is you hit her in the face. Do you want me to appoint a lawyer to represent you?
He had the money for the lawyer now. My bossman, he had 7,000 for me, my pocket, my house.
Okay. So I'm gonna write here that you're gonna hire your own lawyer. it's gonna take, we have a lot of paperwork today, so it may take a couple hours, probably a little bit more to like maybe 3 o'clock. At some point in time, you're gonna be allowed to use the phone. I would call your boss and just let him know that you got a total bond of $5,000, okay?
He got it, man. I pay him $5,000, he get it up.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Alfredo?
Really here, I need the call good in Spanish, but he talk on what's going on, really, what's going on with the story. You know, by me, he lived 10 years, only working. I have 7 sons.
Okay.
You know, that's
Wow.
not me working, me manager for my child.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Currently,
you'll be able to get out today, okay?
okay, thank you.
All right. You're free to go back.
Okay, Your Honor, that's gonna be everybody for today.
Okay. Thank you for your assistance. We got a bunch of, I think, more than 150 pages with the warrants, so it's going to take me a little while to get them back today.
Okay.
Okay. All right.